Hey, how's everyone doing today? Welcome to my daily events roundup, keeping you informed with the latest happenings around the world. I'm Mr. Controversy, and today I'll be discussing the tox report that came out from the chief, from the three gentlemen that froze to death in their friend's backyard. So a couple of days ago, maybe probably about a week now, I spoke about this and I said something was not right about that story. I knew it wasn't no alcohol. I've been places that's extremely cold. You get cold, you're gonna go inside. I said there was something wrong. I said that the friend who owned the house, I believe his name is Jason, was lying. That he was not telling the whole truth about everything. Come to find out, drugs was in play. Fentanyl, cocaine, marijuana. I'm pretty sure what happened was, he checked himself into a clinic, to get help. So I'm pretty sure more than likely he was a frequent user. He probably's like, hey, I got some weed, whatever. He probably mixed up a couple of things. Apparently they called him the chemist. He got his shit wrong that damn day. So I'm pretty sure he laced, because that's something that's old where they used to lace, joints with cocaine. And apparently this had fentanyl in it. It takes a very small amount. You don't even have to ingest it. You can actually die from just by absorbing it through the skin, in your hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this video and give you my thoughts on it afterwards.
News Nation has learned that the police now have those toxicology reports. And they show fentanyl, cocaine, and marijuana in the systems of all three men who died. News Nation is told, and this really comes from the families who met with the police, that the amount of fentanyl is well beyond the lethal limit, not legal limit, lethal limit. Today, the toxicology reports shared with those families: 38-year-old Ricky Johnson, 36-year-old Clayton McGinney, 37-year-old David Harrington. After mounting pressure from family and the media, families have been really angry over the lack of answers up to this point. Meanwhile, the living friend, Jordan Willis, was a tenant in the home they'd gone to, has moved out of the house, checked himself into rehab, never contacted the police despite the men being dead and frozen in his backyard for 2 days. His family calling the deaths of his friends as a serious wake-up call. They're saying that this is what led him to go into rehab. After the shocking loss of three of his close friends under extremely tragic circumstances, Jordan recognized he had a problem with addiction. He immediately checked himself into rehab after vacating his home and putting his things into storage. Since the beginning of this case, police have said there were no signs of foul play. They were not investigating this as a homicide. And tonight they're just saying the case remains an ongoing death investigation. Joining me now, Jesse Weber, attorney and anchor for the Law and Crime Network, also a News Nation legal contributor, and my friend Mark Eiglarsh, criminal defense attorney and former Miami-Dade County prosecutor. All right, so Jesse, now we've got this information about the fentanyl, a lethal limit. Where do you think that takes the investigation?
So what we don't have is the autopsy report. What I mean by that is we still don't know the exact cause of death or manner of death. It looks like it could be the fentanyl. What we don't know is how they got the fentanyl. We don't know if they knew they ingested fentanyl. So many of the cases we cover are people who are given what they think is some other drug, and it's laced with fentanyl. The person who supplied it actually ends up facing criminal charges. Because we don't have those answers yet, it then becomes a question of who introduced that into the mix. And remember, they all died together outside, which is a very eerie circumstance, and we know that Mr. Willis was allegedly passed out. So did they all take it together? That becomes the next question. We definitely have a piece of the puzzle, but now it becomes, what do we do with it?
But, and Jesse raises an important point, Mark, which is whether it was intentional or not. It could be totally unintentional, and yet the person who supplied the fentanyl, whether it's the guy in the house, whether it's somebody else, could be in legal trouble.
I know that all too well. My first thought was, with certainty, they're going after whoever might have supplied the drug. I am representing someone currently who was an addict and was using drugs with someone else, and he supplied it to her. She overdoses, and now I'm defending him for felony first-degree murder. So that's the popular charge these days. Let's find out where the drugs came from. Let's go after them and subject that person to a life sentence.
Thank you for watching.
So there you heard it. You have it right there. Okay, this is what I think will happen. You know, I think I think all of them, maybe that one guy that supposedly had left, made it home safe. Maybe he left by himself, or he was there. Maybe he didn't, you know, smoke the joint with them. He probably just stuck to alcohol. You know, the guy who owned it, that was renting the place, he probably was used to taking drugs. So if wherever it was, it didn't have that adverse effect on them. I think they were all in the backyard, probably smoking, and those three just went down. And being that there was drugs involved, he was scared. He didn't call the police, didn't call anything because automatically he would have went to jail. He went, he left them outside, went inside, came up with the story. Hey, I was inside. I didn't go outside for 2 days. I work from home. They gave him time to clean up because I guarantee the police got there. They didn't find no drugs. They probably didn't find no residue. They didn't find anything. He cleaned up the backyard, and then the girlfriend the fiance shows up for the one gentleman, and she's the one who calls the police, and the police show up. That's just my thought of that's how I, like OJ said, if I would have done it, this is how I would have did it. I think that's what happened. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on what you think what happened. Just leave your thoughts down in the comments. And as always, like I said, I'll go back and talk back and forth with you about the comments as far as what you think happened. I think he should go to jail. He should be held liable because it happened at his place of residence. I think if they test him, he probably have it's never too late. It ain't no 30 days. So it means he would probably test positive for drugs as well. So I think he should be held accountable and he should go to jail. So once again, thanks for stopping by. Don't listen to my content, and I will see you later.